Yeah, I'll be happy to pray us in, but before that, I travel astrally. I have a lot of astral miles saved up.
I'm actually glad you brought that up. I'm working on that, and we're gonna take a step toward that maybe today. So,
Awesome.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
All right. Let us all come together in the consciousness of the one mind, the one life, and the one power. And this presence expresses itself through us as us. It can't be any other way. There's only one life and there's only one power, and it reveals itself through each and every one of us. And it will continue to reveal itself as we discuss our topic this morning with our brilliant leader, Terrie. Thank you. And so it is.
So it is. And so it is. I don't know about the brilliant part, but everything else is. We're good.
I second that motion.
Thanks, Charlie. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you guys. And I think all of us on this spiritual journey, we're kind of really truly outcasts, in the world around us. And yet we see so many things that others miss because of our spirituality, because of the things that we are able to perceive. And part of that perception, we've been talking about present moment. And I wanted to have a bit of a discussion because I wanted to see if any of you were practicing that. And if so, what was your method and how did you use it and how have you used it? So does anybody have any thoughts about that?
About what?
How to use what?
Present moment. That's what I don't know if you guys, maybe you haven't been here. Let me do a recap. So
Yeah.
we've been talking about how to bring your consciousness into the present moment, just for little bits at a time, in order to still our minds, to make our minds still, in order to get guidance from spirit above or whoever that we communicate with, and in order to bring our body into coherence. And part of the getting into present moment is to relieve ourselves of the confusion of the conscious mind, and to kind of get into the subconscious where our operating system, the system that kind of makes us who we are, to get into the subconscious and kind of deal with what's going on there. So we talked about a way to...
Excuse me a second. Christian Steele's trying to get on. The passcode's not working for him. He's an MD that teaches meditation.
Oh, nice.
I've been listening to this Next Soul podcast, and they've been interviewing a lot of the famous mediums and celebrities that have had near-death experiences and different types of skill sets in the realm. And basically, many of them are former nurses and or doctors who are saying, now we're starting to connect the dots, and metaphysics does come into this practice of medicine. Like, thank you.
But it's not even metaphysical. It's actually our birthright.
Yeah.
We've decided that it's something woo-woo and out there, and only certain special people who've meditated for 90 years in their life have to do this. And that is so not the truth. It's who we are, which is amazing.
It is the science.
And I think
when
you bring up doctors and nurses, I think they're always operating at the edge of who they are, because there is no rule book for some of the circumstances that they get into, and they have to be who they are in order to help.
Yeah.
So
that makes good sense. Yeah, a couple of the nurses on the interviews have said that they've literally been given permission by their superiors to lay their hands on people's bodies, right? It's like, that's amazing, because that would never have happened.
No, not
a couple
before,
dozen years ago. Yeah.
But we're so desperate.
Yeah.
As a society, we are so desperate to find things that work.
Yeah.
Let's see, I got an email back.
I think there's a massive spiritual awakening taking place, and people are starting to pay attention to the old ways.
It's what Charlie talks about, is our transcendence.
Yeah, because when pharmaceuticals started, they had to eradicate all forms of herbal medication, self-healing, all that kind of thing. So that was driven out of the dialogue in order to promote the sale of medication, of pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And so now we're having an awakening and coming back to all that. You know, this full moon is really doing a number on people's heads.
Yes. Hi, Sally.
There's, yeah, if you want to see where we've come from, Harlan and I last night watched on Netflix a movie about Einstein.
Uh-huh.
It's only about an hour and 20 minutes, and it talks about his involvement in creating the atomic bomb and his regret in having done that. And so it talks about World War II, the Nazis. It talks about Hiroshima, Nagasaki. And it talks about those things. Have you seen it? Did someone say they
No,
saw it?
I haven't.
Oh, yeah. Take a look at it. It's a short movie, but it's like, you know, in some ways we haven't gone very far, but in some ways we were light years ahead of where we were then.
Yeah.
So, you know, there is hope. So I think we're all here.
Yes.
Welcome, everyone. And I wanted to get started again, and I know we've got some new people, and forgive me for being redundant, but I wanted to speak about, you know, we've been doing brief discussions or brief lectures on the present moment. And what I'd like to do today is to
I need
talk
to
a little.
interrupt you a second, please.
Okay.
Nikki, the code needs to be given to
Corinne.
Corinne.
Okay.
She's been-
Thank you.
Do
Sorry
you
for
have,
the
can you give
interruption.
me her email address? Sorry about this, Dr. Steele. We're a little technically challenged today.
I thought it was me. No problem.
Yeah,
No,
I don't have her
it's,
email. Do you have her email?
Hmm?
I said I don't even have her email. Let me
That's
get
why
it
she
from her.
wasn't on the invitation. Can you send her, if you've got a text or something, the same message? Dolly, could you cut and paste it from the chat?
Can you?
But if you could do it to my phone.
Okay.
You got Della's phone number?
I'm so sorry. This is so embarrassing.
Oh, but we're learning to live in the moment here.
I
We're learning
guess.
to live in the 21st century. And we all have unnimble thumbs at times, so don't sweat it. Let me just grab it. Do I have it on my phone? That's the challenge. Since Corinne's heard it, Terry, maybe you want to go ahead and do the
Okay.
backdrop, and then
I
she
can do the background, and I'm wondering, I'm having a conversation with my guides, like, am I on the right track here? Because I've started 3 times now, but we're going to keep going. We'll see what happens, and I'm going to ask for their guidance. But so the present moment, it's something that you'll hear everywhere. You hear present moment, mindfulness, you hear people discussing it, but what is it really? In my mind, the present moment is coming into who you really are. We were just talking about that, coming into your soul, allowing your soul to express in the here and now. And then the question becomes, how do you do that? How do you allow your soul to express in the here and now? And it's so simple that I think in a lot of cases it's elusive. You know, we hear about people, Tibetan monks who meditate for hours on end, for years on end, and they're able to come into the present moment. But truthfully, coming into the present moment is a matter of focusing on your body, maybe a sound in the room. This is one technique that I use, a sound in the room, and then a sensation. So to come into the present moment, just focus on your breath, which is your body, a sensation, which could be your clothing, or sometimes I ask people to rub their fingers together for the sensation, and then to focus just on maybe a sound in the room and to stay present. And the reason that, well, the way that I was taught to do that is in working with animals, because what you find is that animals share feelings, people share feelings, And so if you're able to bring your animal, if you're able to come into the present moment with your domesticated animals, dogs and cats, and it works on non-domesticated animals, but I haven't tried it. But with dogs and cats, you come into the present moment and they're almost like barometers of your ability to come into present moment, because instantly they come into present moment with you. They get sleepy and relaxed. And so, I've got a couple of reactive dogs that we've been able to get out of their reactivity just by giving them the opportunity to reflect on what they're about to do instead of telling them what to do. And so I see this as one benefit of the present moment. First of all, it's allowing you to decide what to do without the noise and the chatter of everything that's around you. It allows you to go in, connect with your operating system, your subconscious, and your soul, which is part of your soul, and to then make better decisions, bring you into easier meditation. If you're having a discussion with someone, you can bring them into the present moment by coming into the present moment. So there's so many benefits that I've found to using it. And today, I know today I wanted to talk to each of you because I know each of you has a practice, and I'm sure that it concerns the present moment. And I just wanted us to discuss, how I do it, and why I do it. But I just wanted to hear from you what your thoughts were as to if you do it, how often you do it, why you do it, and how you do it, so that we have many modes to choose from. Because like everyone says, there's no right way to do these things. It's what works for you. So, I'm hoping to get some more tips and tricks. So I'm hoping, does anybody have any thoughts about that?
I did one just this week with a person who we were going through, not really a counseling exercise, but an exercise of getting people to have clean communication and just getting rid of the energy attached and the emotion attached to a dialogue that's necessary to have, that could be a conflicting or a triggering kind of dialogue. And what I did with this person was I did a clearing of the sensory areas. And so I had her wipe all the thoughts that no longer serve, throw them up to the sun to be transmuted, all the things you've seen that no longer serve, all the things you've taken in through your nose, your mouth,
Wow.
your hearing, throw them up to be transmuted, everything you've said, and then your thoughts, words, and deeds, and then finished with a little sweeping of the smaller back to get rid of the guilt, fear, and shame. You're going to send it all up and then just circle and send up all the excess energy. And that brought her back into her center and her well-being. So that's a quick thing that you could do.
That's very quick. And that's for the kinesthetic kind of folks, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
It's for those folks who need to feel and to touch. Yeah, and that's great because it actually does change the perspective, doesn't it? When you do that,
It does.
it takes away all of the confliction, the
Yeah.
confusion. Perfect. Thank you, Nikki.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I
I've always
could do a
felt
little bit.
really important.
Oh.
Oh, excuse me.
No, go ahead.
Hi,
Thank you.
Sally.
Hi. I've always found it really important to start with where someone is at.
Good point.
So one of the first things I do is just the deep breathing, the ratio breathing in and out, and then the pause. We call it I always want to say kombucha. I think it's called kombucha, where we really can meet the divine. And so getting someone really aligned. But I also find it really important, my meditation process and Blessings from Mary, the meditation book that Mary Magdalene and I created, is about just writing, that stream of consciousness and allowing whatever is there to be with it, to really lean into it, to really let myself lean into that, or let someone lean into that and just get it down on a piece of paper, whatever it happens to be. And then when it feels complete, which I think the body and the mind and the spirit know when we're done, for that moment, then open a new space to receive, what I call my spirit guides and soul partners in response to whatever I've written. So that's always been important, not necessarily to pretend what's there isn't there, but to lean into it, give it a place, and then to open in the emptiness of it when it's completed.
Oh, very nice. It's a process. So you use your writing to center yourself then. You use your writing to find out what's going on in your subconscious. It sounds like. Very nice. Thank you. Dr. Steele, what did you have?
Well, I just first I wanted to say thanks for having me. This is a real treat to be able to join your group. Charlie's been talking about it for a while, so I just introduce myself as well to and thank you for allowing me to be here. So being in the moment to me is a practice, and everybody has their own way of doing it, and I think that's awesome. I think trying to think about it almost as an integrative process, because we're trying to heal the separation that's within us, and we have lots of now moments going on all the time. So if we can kind of bring recognize that every time that we're present, even if it's not in the current moment, there is still another now moment going on, trying to bring us to another moment that we are always working on, with a practice, kind of trying to get more into our bodies, more into a physical presence that's here on the planet. And some of us, like myself, have been out there for so long that it's actually hard to get back into your body. So I do a practice where I am trying to heal the different moments where engaging and pausing in my meditations, and it be not just meditation, but even throughout my day, whatever you're thinking about, you're trying to heal that. But then you try to engage your emotional body, so your feelings are with you, and you try to keep helping that, and you'll try to engage with your spirit body and integrate with that, and constantly bring it back to something within your body. I like to count on myself where I can feel my heartbeat going, and I think that helps it to open up more and to expand into a present moment as well. So to me, it's a practice. It isn't just like one thing. You can be, like do it in many different ways. But I love hearing about all the different ways. It just helps to reinforce the complexities, or not complexities, but the amount of separation we've all experienced here, really.
Thank you for
that, Christian, because I had a lot of chronic pain for a long time, and I really just I had a much different experience just kind of being present in my body. Like I just needed a lot of distraction to not feel that pain all the time.
Oh, wow.
And I finally got, the medical help. It took a long time to kind of overcome that. And I'm in a process of like practicing different ways at different times to kind of come back into that center and like more into my body more often, more consciously. And I'm not one that like one specific way is going to work for me like every moment. I love that you said there's different ways, and sounds like you're doing it different ways at different times too. So that was nice to hear.
Thank you. And I appreciate that too, because when we come into the present moment, at least initially, everything that tries to keep us out of the present moment arises, right? That's what our thoughts, our thoughts become, well, you can't do this. You've got to go to the grocery store. You've got to do this assignment. You've got to fix this or do this. But as we can overcome our mind, as we can overcome our thoughts with the present moment, it becomes easier and easier to attain the present moment just by thinking about it. Every time you think about being present, you're present. It is just so miraculous to me to just say, okay, I'm going to be present and to be present. And then when the thoughts come, thoughts are okay as long as you don't think about them. So as long as you say your thought is, I've got to go to the grocery store, you just go, okay, thank you for that. Go back to being present. But if you say, okay, I have to go to the grocery store and then I have to get milk, and if I don't get butter, I'm not going to be able to make dinner. And if I don't make dinner, that's going to cause issues. The way our thoughts tend to build upon themselves. So it's a whole untraining, isn't it? Because at least, from my perspective, from being brought up, sitting idly, daydreaming or trying to be present or trying to not think was considered laziness. And there's something wrong with you, child. Why are you just daydreaming? Why aren't you, actively participating? You had to be going all the time or doing something. And to sit and think was just not appreciated. And so now when we realize the healing properties of presence and mindfulness and paying attention and not multitasking, I mean, how crazy was it, that we thought that we were doing really good if we had 4 things going at once? It's the wonder of it is that thinking has changed, or it's changing. I want to say that it's changing. And as we become present with our tasks, become present with others, become present with our animals, as we were talking about, we become present with ourselves. And the interesting thing to me about presence is it's like having a water hose, maybe, with a lot of pressure unattended. If you're not present, it's like that water is just shooting everywhere, and it's, sometimes working, sometimes not working, sometimes it just splashes people, and and that's kind of what our energy is like when we're not present. And each of us has been in the presence of someone who's absolutely not present. I think we can say that. But coming into the presence is grabbing a hold of that water hose and directing that water, directing our attention where we want it to go. And so Charlie talked about out-of-body experiences. We can direct our consciousness out of our body because we are souls, right? And 95% of us aren't even in this body by some accounts. You can't really measure it. But the majority of us, the large portion of us, don't even occupy this body. So the other part, that's our soul. So thank you for that, B. Thank you for that.
One of the
Anybody else?
hardest parts about the being in the moment for most people is the wellness that they have, or the lack of wellness that they have, because we bury so many emotions. And I think you alluded to it with the waters, getting your waters cleared out, because they're so toxic with all the exhaustion and the pains and the sadness and the guilts and the things that you keep on layering within the well within people. And to get that out, people get very discouraged because of the amount of energy that's been put into this over lifetimes. And so finding your way and the way you do things and cleaning out the waters, it's a big part of things. And if you remember that you are a presence, you don't necessarily buy into the pain and the sadness and whatever. You're here to change it and to keep on sending it up and to not be discouraged. It's kind of a remembering who you are all the time and being present.
It's exactly right. And as you said, peace and non-peace can't exist in the same time. So as you come into the presence,
Exactly.
all this unpeace is going to come up. But if you stay in the presence, your presence is going to dispel that non-peace. And then you just get to the next layer, as you said, you get to the next layer of non-peace and the next layer of non-peace. But go ahead. But being present, I thought you wanted to say something. But being present allows us to meet these things piece by piece. And it's a long process, as you said. Our pain, if I'm trying to be peaceful, can I be peaceful if my arm is killing me or my shoulder? Can I be peaceful if I'm hungry? Can I be peaceful if this guy just cut me off in traffic, which is a big one for me? Is there a way to find peace with that? And if I can find peace with that at that moment, then the next time that happens, it's less hard or easier, I guess you could say, for me to find peace or peace to be found, because you've gotten rid of the first layer and now you're underneath. Kevin, I liked what you said earlier. Do you have something more to say about present moment? And
I don't remember saying anything, but anyway, well, with me, present moment, I've been putting it into effect since our last chat, and it turns out I'm taking part in this meditation thing where they constantly bring you back to present moment.
Beautiful.
And since I'm just getting started with meditation, I feel like it's a good foundation to start me with. And I have seen a marked difference in myself since meditating, kind of thing. And I look forward to where it's gonna go, kind of thing. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's endless.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I like what you said. It is endless. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, but some of his stuff is based on the endlessness of space within space, and that we are mostly made of space, and that as we go into the present moment, we bring the consciousness of space with us. It's a concept I'm kind of grasping with, but it is a way to connect with our guides, a way to connect with other people on a different level, and a way to connect with the universe, with that other part of our soul. So, Charlie, again, uncharacteristically quiet. You haven't interrupted me in the last 20 minutes. So what you got?
I'm enjoying everyone's participation. It's wonderful. And a couple of things. One, we're talking about thoughts mostly, but what about non-thoughts? What about imagings? We haven't really discussed that very much. Things that bring me into, I'm busy working on something and my bladder will take charge and bring me into the present moment of my bladder. And I need to address that. That's a present moment. We talk about transcendent moments where we rise above our thoughts and images and attain a sense of essential divinity, where our soul light's likeness is that of the Creator. And the Creator within us finds that attribute we call peace or joy. Sometimes in the present moment, if I have pain, I pay attention to the pain. And sometimes when I do that, the pain disappears and dissolves. But the pain is also friendly. It's also there to let us know we need to address something, perhaps. So there's a universal intelligence that we use all the time. And it's a matter of perhaps identifying with it and knowing it's our God-likeness. And that perpetuates itself through us as we identify with it. Does that make sense?
It does to me, Charlie. And again, you bring up, that pain comes to tell us something. And if we can be present with the pain instead of trying to escape it, as B was talking about, if we can be present with the pain, we can make it go away. It's almost as if we just bring it into the present moment, we focus on it, breathe into it, then it can go away. And
I
so
laughed at that. Sorry, I'm totally interrupting, but like I chuckled at that because it's just not always true. Like sometimes the pain is not going to go away. And I don't know, it's just like it's profound because like when someone says something like that in a blanket statement and then they can't make the pain go away, it makes them feel like they're doing it wrong. And sometimes pain does get addressed by attention, but sometimes pain is just there because there's like when I have a broken ankle and I've just broken it, there's no amount of me paying attention to my pain that's going to make that pain go away, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does. But if you were to get hysterical and start screaming about your broken ankle and you're going to get outside of your head, outside of your body.
Say it does, meaning that it does make the pain go away if you pay attention to it?
No, what I'm saying is, right, I was just addressing your last statement. I think that it can, and I think we talked about the layers. And so I think that each time you come into present moment with something like pain or frustration or anger, the next time it comes around, it's easier to get present with it. And I think you keep tearing away and getting at those layers. I think then you're able to, at some point, conquer it. I don't think, it's not an instant magic cure-all, but it can do that. Otherwise, it just leaves layers. Now, to get back to what I was saying about your point, to be present with something is, say you break your leg. And I've done it both ways. I've done it where, I was like crazy and no one could console me. And the pain was horrendous and my mind was crazy and all that stuff. But I've also had extreme pain of broken bones with present moment. And I found that if I can stay present with it, I'm much more able to manage the pain, at least. And so
Yeah, I
maybe
can
that's
find
what we're talking about.
acceptance of it. I can be with it easier, but it doesn't make it go away.
It doesn't exacerbate it, I think, like some of the other emotions can.
And I'm not saying it exacerbates it, and I'm not saying I got hysterical or anything like that. I'm just pointing out that there are some times when just attention doesn't make something go away.
Can I add something to this a little bit? What I've noticed, especially within these levels of mass consciousness and how we approach the different sensations we express, what we're feeling in the moment, a lot of which, we're just a part of the mass consciousness until we recruit and heal ourselves. And so a lot of the pain and the issues we're saying sometimes is not even ours. And if we can identify which is ours, then we usually are well on our way to being able to process that which we need to learn from, because this ultimately is a learning process and it's not there to torture us. And so if we learn how to process it, we see that, oh, I'm connected to pain because of X, Y, and Z. And if I can resolve that, then I see it then, because you see what you understand. And when you see something, then you can push out which is not yours out of the picture more, and you establish your sphere of consciousness and your presence and your now moment that helps you to detach a little bit more from the mass consciousness, which is full of all the sinking heaviness that pulls people down every day. And then we get to lighten up ourselves and then become kind of a way shower for the world, because we are not buying into all this stuff because we don't know, we didn't know how to process it. We identified with it and we thought it was ours. It keeps getting our attention. It makes it worse until you actually can heal yourself on the whole situation.
And that's more about like a mental, emotional pain that we're talking about in that moment, right, Christian?
Well, it's more about what it is to you. What issues are you still have unresolved? What is it that is coming back to you in that now moment that needs the acceptance, that needs to be able to have your presence connected to it rather than being attached to mass consciousness? It comes home, you grow from what is stuck in something you didn't get when you were going through the different stages of life and all the different separations. And on the other side, a lot of times we need separation. Sometimes we're like in a boxing match and we need to have the bell rung and go to our corner and get a break, until we can kind of regroup and kind of come back at it with a new perspective and a new presence that can be a little bit more together. And so sometimes we just get really torn apart and we need a rest, So to me, it's a process. And groups like this, when people connect and they share things, you see things with a new light, and you have a shared consciousness that allows people to, heal faster and see things in a new way. Did I do something?
No. Okay.
Is that Kareem?
Yeah. I just wanted to share something, if it's okay. One of the things that I did, and I agree with Christian, it's like everybody kind of does their own different things, but I studied under a kahuna, which he was 100% Hawaiian, and he had ancestors that were all kahunas, like medicine women, medicine man, so forth. And I studied under him for a couple of years, and it was very enlightening. And one of the things that he did, which I'm sure you've all heard of, I always mess it up, the Ho'oponopono thing. And it's just where when you're healing the body, simply focus the mantra, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And it's kind of nice because we all, like, I stepped recently on a bee, and I know, hey, I brought that to myself, and I had, a bad reaction for 2 days. But the energy within that mantra will penetrate to the cause of your suffering, cleansing and purifying the memories that have been trapped within the cells of your body and created the symptoms. So I just do that. And I know some people aren't into mantras, but it helps me. So I'm just going to share that. And those of you who want to take it, fine. Those who don't want to is fine too. But it really, really helps me just to know, hey, I brought this onto myself. And, kind of like focus on it and then just say that. It doesn't get rid of the symptoms per se, but it helps me a lot to focus on the positive energy, which hopefully is clearing it a little bit faster than if I just, didn't say anything. So thank you for letting me share, everyone.
That's beautiful, Corinne. I love Ho'oponoponos. I've forgotten. I had some people used to do that all the time, and very, very effective. I like to use the law of forgiveness because there is no healing without forgiveness. And if you recognize that that's an empowered state, it's actually to forgive yourself of your own ignorance and your own misunderstandings of what we've accepted along the way from our parents and the schools and all the false authorities in the world and everything. So yes, I think that brings a beautiful aspect and more of a heart energy to the picture, where you are accepting yourself and you are about taking responsibility rather than reacting, and you are practicing acceptance of yourself and learning how to be a healer in the world that is usually just defensive and reactive.
Yeah. Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you, Corinne, for bringing that up. And I wonder, either Corinne or Christian, can you explain, I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, and thank you. Can you explain why we say those things? What we're saying when we say that?
Corinne, go ahead. You're the one that brought it up.
Sure, Christian, put me on the spot.
Hey, you
Oh,
brought
I'm
it up,
joking, I'm joking. I'm sorry, can you ask me that question again? I apologize.
Oh, not at all. No, there's a reason for saying each of those statements.
Yeah,
And-
because, okay,
Mhm.
well, I might not know the exact thing, but I'm sorry is basically, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. My understanding, and again, this is just me working under that one person, and just that it's something that we get very emotional around certain situations. All of us, if we've been injured, I've done it myself. We get angry, mad. Oh, why did I step on that bee? I saw it there. Why did I do that? And it's just saying that you're sorry. That I think it has a lot to do when I look at it, and maybe I'm rambling here, I apologize, but just saying, that I'm losing it here. I apologize. I've been sick for about 2 days with like a stomach flu with the bee bite, allergic reaction. So you know what, Christian, do you want to take over?
Well, I don't use a Ho'oponoponos. I just I kind of have my own way of doing it, but I understand it. It usually deals with the fact that you are in touch with something that's been separated. You want to engage it. You want to accept the entire situation, and also learn from it and bring that part of yourself back home. It reorients it back to yourself. You direct it up. Sometimes you would surrender it up. It gets all cleaned up by your guides and then put back into place and everything. And there's a big healing that goes on. And then if you want to extend that forgiveness to those that are around you or those that are caught up in the same situation, it is entirely up to you. But it's about your healing, and it's about being able to respond and not react to any situation.
Yeah, and I wanted to add, thank you. It's someone's putting in the message, expressing gratitude, and I really like whoever's sending this over to us via the meeting chat.
Hey, so that's Nikki. So Nikki, do you
Yeah,
want to
thank you,
explain?
Nikki. Yeah, please do, Nikki. I'm
This
sorry,
is-
I've been sick, so.
Oh,
No,
and
no,
you
no.
were
I know
saying-
I put you on the spot. That was
Feel,
perfect.
feel better,
No,
Corinne.
no, I like being put on the spot, so don't worry about it. It's just I'm a little bit foggy still.
Yeah, this is the power of AI. I also lived in Hawaii for a bit. Oh, Laura seems to have something to say too. Are you on chat? Are you on?
Yeah,
Hello?
those four things that they're talking about,
Yes.
I say those every morning. I have them on my desk, but they came from, there was a study by a psychiatrist in a prison, and he worked with the criminally insane, and he worked with those people, and he would tell them to say those four things every morning for a certain period of time. And after that period of time was over, their whole attitude and personality had changed. It was a study. So that's why I say them, because those are the four things that he used with them.
Yeah.
Thank you
hi,
for
good to
sharing
see
that.
everybody.
I didn't realize that. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think going back to indigenous ways, they have sort of this knack for nailing it. So I just trust that it's true. You know, these medicine people have some great wisdoms.
Yeah, and look at Hawaii. It's supposed to be, the Kahuna told me that, just like there's places in Sonoma and the Bermuda Triangle where it's very, very spiritual.
Yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps right now, which I know it's spiritual, but they have that, whatever, that triangle or whatever. I forgot. I have my notes, but yeah, I love Hawaii. It's beautiful. But thank you.
I just
So
want
you-
to pop back in again about the differentiating between mental emotional pain and physical pain. So if someone has a tooth abscess and they're in pain, our coming back to present moment can help us deal with the pain, but it doesn't get rid of it. And dealing with the pain better is absolutely good. It's absolutely positive, but we really need help and assistance with like an abscess tooth, from, I think for most people outside of just thinking things, you know what I mean? Like we need to go to the dentist or like get some antibiotics or clove oil or like whatever we're doing to help with that. And I mention that because having Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and having dealt with black mold that like just caused a cascade avalanche of like health issues in my life, like I was in so much pain physically that when I would go to a doctor to like talk about it, I would have to like focus to check back into my body enough to describe what was going on, because kind of checking out of it was like a coping mechanism. So like no amount of like presencing was gonna like get rid of it, and I just think it's important to recognize the difference between those two when we're talking about all of this.
Thank you.
I'd like to interject another thought coming from a different point of view. We've been talking about healing and modalities to heal, and they're all fine and excellent. But if you look at it from a point of view that there is no accidents in the universe, no such thing as an accident. Everything has a cause and everything has an effect. And sometimes, we end up in blame and shame. If we have an accident, I break a wrist or something, what's my approach to that? Do I blame myself for falling Or do I blame somebody else for pushing me? And when we do that, we're living in blame and shame. And we're not getting the message that there's an elucidation. For every illness and for every accident, there's an opportunity for spiritual growth. And that growth brings the answers that each of us need to hear at the level we're willing to accept. And obviously, some forms of healing are instantaneous for the hierarchy of spiritual development. And if we're not there, then it may take a longer time to heal. And for the pain, eventually the pain leaves us. It doesn't matter if it's seconds or hours or days, but it does leave us, and that shows us that there's a healing process that's expressing itself through each of us at the level of our consciousness. So often I look at an incident or an accident to see if I can gain some information, something I need to know. And sometimes I come up with a solution that wouldn't have occurred to me if I didn't look deeper into the situation. But it has to be a situation where we're not blaming ourselves and we're not blaming others. Of course, when we do that, then that's where the solutions of forgiveness come in and all the other methods of surrendering to something greater than we are, that we're one with. That's all I want to say.
Thanks, Charlie.
I also want to, if I may reiterate, I think B said it, that we have to be careful. I choose to be careful in how I speak to people about their pain and about their hurt. I do absolutely believe in leaning into it and starting by creating a very accepting environment where people are. But I also don't want to think, I want to take responsibility for my mind, but I don't want to see my mind as a higher power. I want to see the higher power, my bow to the mystery. I want my higher power to be my higher power. And I have helped people to heal physically. And I have done very intentional work around, sometimes there's mystery. So sometimes we just surrender to the mystery, to this power greater than ourselves. And no, I don't want to blame someone else and I don't want to shame myself, but part of my humanness is doing that. So I can't know possibility if I don't know desperation, in my opinion. I cannot know pain if I don't know joy. So for me, I have to be very careful about honoring what someone's power greater than themselves is and be sure that I am helping them to shame lift whatever responsibility they think they have to help them open in their vulnerability to a power greater than themselves. I don't know what the purpose of someone's pain for them is, but I know that I can lean into a power greater than myself to try to understand that. I don't want to elevate my mind as more powerful than my connection to the divine. So that's what goes on for me. It wasn't the way I healed. It mostly happened for me through my experiencing the pain. If I feel it, I can heal it. So that's important. That's the space I hold for people. Some people might hold the space for people to, really track and try to control what's going on in their mind. I think some of those things come naturally when we heal, like our mind reevaluates itself as we release the pain. That's how it works for me. And it is a practice, one day at a time. It's a practice. So I appreciate the open-minded and open-spirited discussion and the different perspectives that we bring.
Sally, that is absolutely beautiful, really. I love your path, and I love how you are approaching things, and you are moving from, personality centers into a presence inside yourself. It's absolutely wonderful. The only thing I would like to add to this conversation possibly is that what I consider what is on anybody's plate on any given day, and that's kind of a process that is given to us, and being able to identify what issues are yours and what is your lessons and life lessons. Because when you start identifying what is yours and what's on your plate, then there's less on you every day, and we climb up this ladder and go up and graduate this school that we're in, and it's kind of it's a learning process. But some people get so caught up into other people's issues and how other people are doing it that their plate just keeps on getting more full until it's on the table and it's on the floor and they're falling all over it, and they don't necessarily see what is simply in front of them all the time. And I'd like to bring it back to the simplicity part of things, that life is always presenting you your lesson and always presenting you the obstacles that are right in front of you, which help you unfold in the safest, most efficient way.
Thank you. And being present brings us into ourselves, into our soul, and closer to our higher power without the mind in the way. Because if you are truly present, there is no mind. If you are truly present. So thank you, everyone. I've loved the discussion. I've really enjoyed it and learned a lot.
I'm sorry. I had my hand raised for a while, so I didn't.
Oh,
I know
I'm sorry,
everybody was
Corrine. I
talking.
didn't.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I
didn't
just
see it.
wanted to say, regarding what Charlie said, I really, that hit home, because I actually had almost 75 bees in my bedroom. Dolly took photos of it. And what happened was that when the first couple bees came in, there were dead bees. And I had that knee-jerk reaction, like all of us, when someone's like, you got to do this, that stress. And I'm like, if I just gone with the flow and known spirit was going to be taking care of me, because none of the bees bothered me, even outside when I was looking at the hive. I knew that it was my knee-jerk reaction, and it wasn't like, I'm not blaming myself. I'm saying, oh, that's a gentle reminder. And then what was awesome is when the beekeeper was here, he said, whoever put your LED lights in, they should have put a little bit of ceiling on it, so this wouldn't have happened. So this is beautiful, because now I can call the contractor and say, can you come? So everything happens for a beautiful reason. Is always been like Pollyanna. I was told that several times as a kid and throughout my life. You're like Pollyanna. You always look at the positive. But thank you, everyone. I've learned so much today, as usual. Thanks for letting me speak.
Oh, thank you for being here.
That's awesome. Thank you.
So I guess next, we're at the top of the hour. So we could pray ourselves out, or we kind of lost a few minutes in the beginning. If anybody wants to stay for our guided meditation, you're welcome to. It'll be maybe 10 minutes long. If not, we can just pray ourselves out and close. It's up to you all, whatever you want to do.
I would love to pray out because I need to go, but if I didn't have another commitment, I would love to stay. I wonder if we could pray for those who are needing to go, and then stay for those who want to stay.
Good compromise.
Would you like to lead, Sally?
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for that offer. I'm always careful how we refer to a power greater than ourselves. So forgive me if however you refer to the power greater than yourself, higher power, spirit, mother, father, God, goddess, all the ancestors, all that is holy, the holiest of holy, we breathe in and feel your presence in this moment. May we set aside all that we think we know about you and ourselves and our healing, and be open to all the gifts and the wisdom that come in any variety of people, places, and things. And may we be of service to ourselves and all others as we leave here to share our medicine with the world. Blessed be. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank
Thank
you.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sally.
We'll give everybody who needs to a second to drop off, and then we'll start the meditation, if that's okay.
Yeah, and while we're waiting, Christian, would you like to lead us in one of these weeks coming up?
Yeah, I'd love to sometime. I don't want to
Okay.
take over anything, but I'm happy to, sure.
No, Terry's
Yeah.
got the fourth Sunday of every month, and March has 5. So Terry, I think I've got you down for the 24th.
Okay.
So anything before or after that, Christian, is open for you.
Oh, okay. On the Sunday, same time?
Uh-huh.
That will be on March. So why don't we do the say 17th?
Perfect. All right. And if you have a topic, I can put it in our newsletter if you want to think about it or throw something out now of what you would want to talk about.
Just say let's just make life a practice. Make life a practice.
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you. We look forward to it.
This
Right.
is this is Corinne, and I have somebody that Charlie knows too.
Okay.
She used to go to the One Spiritual Center in Capistrano Valley, but she said she can do it on March 3rd. Her
March
name
3rd.
is Jennifer Rose. She's a medium,
Okay.
and she's really good. And I thought, well, I know I've been asked before, so if
Perfect.
that's okay with everyone, that'll be
Yeah.
this coming Sunday, and I'll reach out to you, Nikki, directly.
Okay.
If I do the Madonna ministry, if for some reason she can't attend, but she reached out to me early this week and said that would work.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Hey guys.
All right.
You all.
Terry,
All right.
back to you.
Thank you. Now, it's up to you whether you want to leave your cameras on or not. It's all about you and getting into meditation. So what I'd like you to do is just lean back in your chair and take a deep breath and let it out. Take another deep breath. And as you do, imagine this warm, wonderful, sparkling energy entering through the top of your head. And allow this energy to swirl around the top of your head, cleansing, clearing every muscle, fiber, every synapse, everything that could possibly have attracted any negativity is now cleansed by the beautiful swirling of this energy. And allow this glittering energy to enter into your head, to caress your shoulders with warmth, to cleanse and clear as it comes down the front of your chest, the back of your back, warming, clearing, cleansing like a beautiful shower of warm water, just gently falling on your body, cleansing and clearing all the negativity that we attract to ourselves and that somehow is stuck to us as it slowly dissolves and it enters into this swirling energy that keeps going around our bodies, into our chest, into our abdomen, cleansing, clearing every muscle, fiber, cell. Every single breath that we take is now cleansed and cleared. And as we take another deep breath, we feel this wonderful energy as it swirls around our abdomen, righting all of the organs there, making them function perfectly as they fire perfectly. And we can now feel our hearts beating perfectly in tune with our breath as we become coherent throughout our bodies. And this energy keeps swirling down through our hips, into our pelvis, into our joints of our legs, our thighs, our knees, our muscles, our calves. Everything is becoming relaxed and cleansed and cleared. And as this wonderful energy enters into our ankles, cleansing and clearing, we look back and we feel our energy. It's so much lighter now. And this energy leaves our feet through the bottom and it goes into the earth. And once it enters into the earth, we feel our grounding connection with this energy, this good. And the negativity is now flowing down the connection to Mother Earth. And so all we're left with is this pure cleansing, clearing energy. And it flows from the top of our head through our bodies. Every cell, muscle, and fiber is feeling the warmth of this energy. And it flows out the bottom of our feet into the earth. The earth then takes that energy and it begins to rotate it back up into our feet, all the way up our legs, into our hips, into our first chakra. And our first chakra is automatically aligned. It's running perfectly. That's the seat of our life. And everything about our life now is working perfectly as our first chakra swirls and centers and calms and does whatever it needs to do to make sure that we are healthy. And as that energy, you can feel that line of energy as it travels up into your second chakra, cleansing and clearing, adjusting that chakra so that it turns perfectly in the direction that it needs to for you, and that it gets the information that it needs for your body to organize itself optimally. And then this energy comes up into your solar plexus, clearing out all of the fears about who we are and how we carry ourselves in the world, leaving nothing but who we truly were born to be. As that chakra turns the way it's supposed to, at the speed it's supposed to go, so that our body and our soul and our everything about us functions optimally. And these first three chakras are now connected together in sync, moving beautifully. And the colors are vibrant and you can see the colors. And as you look down now, we're going into the heart chakra. The heart is the seat of our really emotions. It's the seat of our brain. It's the seat of everything that is us is in our heart. And we feel our heart chakra moving the way it's supposed to, at the speed it's supposed to go. And we feel the warmth, and we are now filled with love. The chakra is bringing in all the information that we need to heal, to forgive, and to allow our true soul to come through. And now this wonderful energy is connected now to our throats. And we feel our throats just opening up. There's so much now that's available to us as this information just pours into our throats. We may know it, we may sing it, we may say it, but it's all coming from this finely tuned chakra, the chakra that's spinning perfectly right in front of our throat. And now this energy is moving up to our third eye, to the pineal gland, to that chakra, and is cleansing and clearing and rotating in a way that allows us to be comfortable not only in the present, but to be comfortable with ourselves, to be comfortable with our direction, to be comfortable with who we are. And now as we move up to the top chakra on top of our head, we see this beautiful flower spinning on top of our head, gathering information from this wonderful warm glow that's coming into it as well. And all of our chakras, the first through the seventh, are connected together, spinning in concert with each other, in collaboration, and everything in our body is working perfectly as it should. And as we sit here for a second and allow ourselves to feel how it feels to be in perfect collaboration, become aware of that spot between our eyes and the back of our head, that pineal gland. We become aware of that spot. And just allow your awareness to open that up. And as you open up your pineal gland and the space around it, you become aware of much more than just your body. You become aware of the space around your body. You become aware of the soul that exists outside your body. And now you can move your awareness, if you wish, through the back of your head, through the top of your head, out into the farthest reaches of your spirit, where your spirit resides. And as you do that, you will see that your spirit is everywhere. And that's how we communicate with each other. That's how we communicate with spirit. That's how spirit communicates with us. We open ourselves up to allow this wonderful, beautiful communication to come in. And as we open ourselves up, we are well aware that we are protected by this wonderful golden energy that surrounds our body, still swirling, still cleansing, still protecting, making the final touches on our health, on our aura, on our awareness, increasing our powers of awareness tenfold. And as we allow ourselves to drift into our etheric body, our spiritual body, our soul, now take a moment and listen from this condition of pure energy, this condition of pure excitement. We listen. As we learn about the next step, the next thing, how we can heal. And we listen. In gratitude, we come back now into our hearts. And with this new awareness, with this new message, with this new love, we open our hearts to each other and connect. And then we open our hearts to the world as we connect and create a grid of love, of healing, of empowerment to the world, to those who need it most, and to those who are lacking it most. We open our hearts to governments around the world, to the refugees, to people who are still trying to find their way. And we give them our light from our hearts. And we take a moment in this connectedness, in this sheer volume of our love and our energy, and we shoot it to the world just like it's a rocket surrounding the earth with all the love that we have, all the love of the universe directed to earth. And for this one moment, we imagine hearts opening to us, to our love, to our energy. And if they don't open to us right now, it is their will. We leave our energy with them for when they will need it, for when they are inspired to open to us. And so even as we leave that energy surrounding the earth, we come back into our hearts. And the energy from the universe replenishes that energy we just sent. And with our hands on our hearts, we send our love out to whoever we're going to meet this week, this month. In every conversation, in every thought that we have, we send our love ahead so that the conversation and the thoughts are easier and God-directed. And so now we find ourselves disconnecting from each other. We bring our awareness back into our bodies, back into the room, back into our seats. We might want to stretch our bodies as our energy fills our bodies in a new way, new energy, new life. And at the count of 5, we will find ourselves awakened, alert, feeling whole, and ready to love. 1, coming back in the room. 2, coming back in your chair. 3, back in the room. 4, entirely in your body as we stretch We allow those new cells, those cleansed cells, to engage. And 5, back in the room, back in our minds, back in our bodies, filled with health, filled with life, and filled with love. And so it is.
That was great. I feel good. Thank you, Terrie.
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
Woohoo.
everyone, for participating. Thank you
Thank you,
for allowing me to speak today. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
And I look forward to next month. Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Laura. Welcome home. You're home.
Yay.
All right. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks, Christian. We look forward to having you in 2 weeks. And you're
Okay,
welcome to
thank
join us
you.
next week, too, if you feel like it. You're
Oh,
always
I'd love to. Sure, absolutely.
All
Thank you.
right. Great.
Thank you.
Thanks
Right.
so much.
Bye-bye.
Have a great
Bye.
week. Bye.
Bye.